Oh my god. Sorry, Uma, save me! It's been a while since I made a video for my Fahrenheit 2 Termina series, covering each participant taking part in the festival held in Bremen. The obvious reason for this is because in real life stuff, waiting to commission JustSomeNoob for the thumbnail, and working on other projects. But no! The real reason why it took so long to make is because of the Bremen army. Them pigs are to blame. It's 100% their fault! That's right. It's time to talk about Babe herself, Karin the journalist. Fun fact, she's covered wars, you know? For real. She's one of the more polarizing characters out of the 14 participants of the festival. She's not evil like Karin, it's just her attitude towards others can be toxic. That also makes her have girl boss vibes, which is sexy as fuck. By the way, something she does have in common with Karin is that she uses slurs too. Oh no! The thing is though, once you learn who Karin is, her behavior and attitude makes a lot of sense. You don't like it, but you understand where Karin is coming from. It's one of the reasons why I love Fahrenheit 2 Termina. Every character isn't one-dimensional. They have depth, and hopefully I'll do Karin justice in this video. Before we begin, a massive shout out and love to JustSomeNoob for making this divine thumbnail for this video. Look how beautiful Karin is with short hair! She's so beautiful! If you can't tell, the idea is based off World War II propaganda posters. It's freaking gorgeous. Yes, the irony that Karin is a journalist seeking the truth, yet is posing in a poster like this is funny. Please, 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 check out their work and follow them on their socials. Support them on Patreon. Seriously, in my opinion, they are one of the best artists out there. It's always wonderful to work with them. JustSomeNoob's links are in the description. Do be warned, they do make the naughty stuff. That's not safe for work. Regardless, they deserve so much more love and support. What are you waiting for? Support them now! In addition, I want to give credit to Omni World for using some of their footage in their All Karin Interactions video. If you didn't know, I used to use footage from a channel called NoCommentary, who covered the interactions you can have in the Fahrenheit games. However, they're gone. Due to how Fahrenheit 2 works, it is a nightmare to get all of the interactions. They're really missable. Videos like Omni World save me so much time when working on videos like this. So please, check them out. Their links will be in the description. Thank you, Omni World. Okay baby, it's time to begin. Did you know that Karin covered wars? If you've seen the other videos in my series, you would know that due to how the game works, there are two variations of the playable characters. There is the character when you play as them, and there's the NPC version of that character. By the way, if you haven't watched any of my videos about the Fahrenheit 2 Termina characters, do it! I'm really proud of the series so far. It's important to understand that playing as a character is vastly different from the NPC counterpart. For example, Marina the NPC will never accept Sameri and call her a monster, but you playing as Marina have the option to accept her. Watch my Marina video for the full story. Now, saying all that, for Karin, apart from learning her character history in the train, playing as Karin is kinda lame from a character point of view. There isn't really much going on for her. There are some dialogue choices, and in terms of gameplay, her persuade skill is nice, but that's it. I wish there was a side quest in the form of a notepad or something. Go to these locations, try to interview locals, or special NPCs. I don't know. Something exclusive to her. I say this because Karin as an NPC is so more interesting than playing as her. Don't get me wrong. Her character history is really important to understanding why Karin acts the way she does. I just want a bit more when we play as her. Hopefully with the update that's coming, we will get more. Saying all that, let's discuss her character history, and afterwards, we'll learn more about her as an NPC during the events of Termina. We learn that Karin from a very young age was curious and outgoing, kind of like a journalist covering wars. Her nanny had to try really hard to keep Karin from getting hurt. Even when she was a little one, she caused mayhem. We then learn that her parents were hella busy and had little time for Karin and her brothers. Oh god, she's the youngest and her older siblings are boys? No wonder she's headstrong. Continuing, she was raised mostly by her nursemaid, Dalia. It seemed like Karin felt something was off about her. She's a Bremen spy! Sorry. Now here comes the politics. Yes, this game has politics. Her parents are aristocrats in the Bremen Empire. However, they rose up on their own without having the blue blood of Bremen. They were sort of, kinda, maybe a part of the nobility in the Bremen Empire, but not really. If you don't have the blood, you don't have much sway in the Empire, which leads me to think how they got into a high position in the Empire. Maybe this is a nothing meat pie, but if a group have a focus on bloodline, you kind of need to have the blood. To give you an example that's kind of based off in our own real world, let's say someone was adopted into the Bremen Empire and they don't have the blue blood. They wouldn't be allowed to be a noble because they don't have the blood. They would probably be given another title or something. And let's say they did, they were allowed to be in the Empire. They would have very little sway in that Empire. And honestly, the other nobilities wouldn't take them seriously. They would be called a false Bremen, maybe. And hell, a bastard child would probably have more of a claim if they had some blue blood in them. I don't know. But yeah, it's just so weird to me that non-blue bloods gain a high status. We're never given much information, but I kind of want to learn more about the politics behind the Bremen Empire. Hell, to shut me up, just make a new term up for them instead of estrocrats. To skip ahead in the story, maybe they will use as scapegoats because Karin's home gets destroyed, but there's no proof of that. The leaders of the Bremen Empire planned for that, and the decision to do so really feels like a last minute one. Again, I may be overthinking this, but in all honesty, I want to learn more about the Empire. Back on track, this is bad news for Karin and her family, because there are high tensions within the Bremen borders and the rise of other factions around the country. It's got so bad that due to the lack of the blue blood in Karin's family, they had to go first. The other nobles were like, attack them! Go after them! Riots and mayhem began, and they went for the Karin's family's manor. In a rush, Karin was given to Delia, and they had to leave the country. Maybe when things get better, they would try to find her again. Karin was a little one, so this memory was blurry, but she does swear that Delia never even talked to her parents about leaving. Karin sees this as a kidnapping. Wow. This is so rough for a little Karin. Not only did she never see her parents a lot, but due to the politics of the Bremen Empire and the conflicts they had with other factions, her housemaid took the opportunity, according to Karin, to straight up kidnap her. That's so much for a child to go through. What really backs up Karin's theory is that why not take her other siblings too? If the plan was safety, why only take Karin? It doesn't make sense. Regardless of what really happened, Karin and Delia went to Jahiata, which is part of the Venorian Republic. This was a massive culture shock for Karin. She did live a life of luxury, and now she's witnessing a whole new level of poverty next to the super rich, hearing a whole new language, and smelling spices from vendors. This is a waking up moment for Karin. She's embracing a whole new world. And yeah, Karin was like, wah! And jumped out of the door of a moving vehicle she was in. Karin was born to be a journalist. She gets what she wants. Of course, being a little one, she couldn't hide forever. She returns to Delia, who for hours was looking for Karin. Delia was chill about this, but again, something felt off about the situation. Maybe she had a sixth sense when it comes to judging people. Maybe the gods are doing some shenanigans. It turns out that living with Delia was okay, but she was cashing in a lot of checks to maintain their lifestyle. Delia explained that it was from Karin's parents, but Karin's feelings tell her it was ransom money. Regardless, Karin is learning and embracing the new culture in the Eastern Union, which gave her a new perspective, and it leads to Karin to take part in activism since the authorities are the oppressors. By the way, I really like this writing. Karin going to a new country to learn about its culture is a great way to make a character take activism seriously. She was spoiled at a young age, and witnessing the horrors of oppression is a legit good reason for her character to change. Instead of writing or saying, it's the right thing to do. We learn that during one of the protests, the local army wanted to make an example out of them and started the beating. Witnessing such horror would fuel the fires in Karin. After she was beaten too, she woke up in a hospital. It turns out it was televised. The Bremen embassy took notice. They approached Karin and she's off to Bremen. This is wild. All because of the protest was televised, she was found and returned home. And this brings back to my previous statement about the politics behind the Bremen Empire. Karin's family aren't blue bloods, yet even though they're part of the Empire, she was so important that they had to take her home. Like, oh my god, we need to know more! She then is reunited with her mother, who has remarried. She lost her dad when the family manor was burnt down all those years ago. Karin was right all along. She was indeed kidnapped. She was getting money from her new stepfather, who could barely put it together. This is the birth of I Covered Wars journalist we love, Karin. Since she was a little one, she would not hold still. She had a feeling something was off. She witnessed oppression, a culture shock, and took part in activism. This is what she was made for. And now the same feeling has happened again. This Kaiser is now the counselor of the Bremen army. Not to mention, he has no ties to the politics of the empire at all. He's not even blue-blooded. He owns the empire? Very sus. We also learn that he was the one who riled up the masses against the nobility. He, in a way, indirectly killed Karin's father. Karin is gonna uncover the truth. It's still weird though. This Kaiser is part of the New Gods. To Karin, it's a crazy theory, yet her sixth sense is tingling. These new gods have been around since the cruel ages of history. They are puppeteers, controlling the nations in secret. It doesn't help that modern global politics are linked to this group. Karin even fears that they were the ones who were behind the last two great wars. That feeling she has is telling her something big is gonna happen. Now that Kaiser is in Pnievel, the capital of Bohemia, to suddenly make a truce with the Eastern Union, Karin is thinking this is very sus indeed. And here we are. Karin had to travel to Pnievel to find answers. Oh, Maron, what a life. This helps us to understand why Karin behaves the way she does in the game. She can't hold still. She had the sixth sense that warns her about something, and now it's going off bad in Pnievel. She feels like she has no time to stand around and wait. She's suspicious of the others because of Delia. You never know someone's true motivations. It's why you can't recruit her early on, and she wants to be alone. She has no time to explain to the others what's happening. It's why she's a dick towards Dan. She has witnessed the effects of wars, oppression, and she made the connections between Kaiser and the Bremen army. She's totally out of line for using a slur towards him, but at least we understand why she's like this. Some stranger telling her that she's wrong? Of course she's gonna be pissed. Plus, she's a loner type. You can't recruit her until day 2, when she understands how fucked the situation truly is. This makes sense. She had trust issues with Delia in the Bremen Empire. Why should she trust strangers on a train? This is why I love the character history in Fear 2 Termina. If you never played as Karin, you'll probably gonna find her super annoying and unlikable, but once you learn her character history, her behavior makes so much sense. In addition, her character history gives a lot of political information regarding the setting that the game takes place in. I am aware people don't want politics in their games. However, in my opinion, politics can be used in writing. This is a good example of that. Not only do we learn more about the countries taking part in the Great War, but it's used to make us connect with Karin. The Blue Bloods threw her family under the bus because they don't have the blue blood. We sympathize towards Karin. Her bias against the Empire makes sense from her point of view. No joke, this is a masterclass of writing characters with political bias. Treat characters like regular people that changed due to events that impacted their lives, versus modern writing which consists of shoving shit down our throats. Anywho, that was Karin's character history. Let's talk about her story in Termina. It's time to talk about I Covered Wars Karin's story in Termina. Her first moments of the game is at the introduction scene with the other characters. We get the famous I Covered Wars line, but we also see her independence attitude come out. It's the Bremen army. They use them damn dirty chemicals on us. That's why we have the same dreams. You disagree with me? Take a slur, Dan. August, you seem to know a bit too much. I don't trust you, old man. Thanks to her character history, we know why she acts like this. She doesn't want to make friends and is in a hurry to get to the city. She's wary of the other participants. After this scene, she will start walking away from the group. You can actually interact with her here. Ultimately, she doesn't really want to talk to you and wants to be alone. This makes sense from her point of view. You are literally a stranger! By the way, I love how Myro used the RPG Maker engine. It makes Karin walk away from the area and she will appear into the next one. It makes the characters feel alive! Next. In night 1, she can be seen in the village's area next to the lake. She starts freaking out. She explains that she was attacked by the locals. She even tells the player about the scoop she's working on. In my opinion, this is such a good scene because it displays the moment where Karin is understanding what she's getting herself into, and it's much, much worse than she expected. So it makes sense why she's being honest with the player here. However, she still wants to travel alone and claims she's been through worse. I also like how this scene implies that a crazed villager attacked Karin and she defended herself. It makes sense. She's a war journalist. She has to know how to defend herself. Next. There's a scene where she talks about Karadura's backstory. I talked about it more in my Karadura video, watch that, but to be brief, Karin explains that Karadura isn't pure evil, and he does what he does because he is a broken man. She has run-ins with him in the past, yet the mobster has no interaction with her in the game. To be honest, this scene is more of an info dump, but it does have a purpose. It further expands on Karin's work as a journalist. Plus, it's a nice detail that Karin is sus about you due to what's happening in the events of the game, plus the Levy corpse. It makes so much sense why she is careful around you. I will say it's pretty funny how after Karadura and Levy have their moment, she pops up like, hey, I know, the city is small, so it's not that far-fetched, but I don't know, it's still funny to me. In day 2 is where you can recruit her, and she can be seen in the city taking pictures? What the fuck, Myro? Please add a photo feature when playing as her! My god, I mean, my Ulmer. Why is her NPC version so cool? Anywho, if you asked her, she will join your party. Woo! Next, she has an interaction with the Weeping Scope. I love how her first instinct is to look out for the player and tell them to get down. She does care. This is also another opportunity to recruit Karin. I like this one a lot. When it comes to recruiting, most characters have only one way to recruit them. It's nice that Karin can be recruited in other ways. Plus, in my opinion, this method is better for her character, because at the start of the game, she made such a big deal out of working alone, and now that shit has hit the fan, she is willing to team up. It's a good character moment. Next, there's a scene with Karin and best girl Marina with the Weeping Scope. The main discussion is about if the monster was human first, then they became a monster, or if the monster is turning human. I love how Karin is like, shut the fuck up, that thing isn't turning human, the Mao. Marina counters her by saying, don't monsters want to be human? For real, this is an interesting debate. I also like how Karin isn't an arse to Marina. Well, less of an arse compared to Dan and August. It tells me that she trusts, respects Marina. There's also talking to Karin on the train. It's a small moment compared to everything else, but we see Karin feeling exhausted with the festival, and she wants a break. I like little moments like this. It makes the characters feel more human. There's also a moment in the bar where you can talk to Karin, and she will further explain the Bremen army theory. You learn from her point of view that radiation plays a factor to what is happening. To be honest, if we want to be as real as possible, if this took place in the real world, radiation could be why pre-evil is the way it is. Deformed villagers, the city in a mess, the monsters, etc. However, you know what's coming. Dan, the doctor, is like, objection! Radiation doesn't work like that. He explains that radiation poisoning works much faster, and everyone would be dead if it was a bomb or a nuke. Mutations can happen in the long term with milder radiation poisoning, yet the effects of the villagers appear to happen much quicker. This also explains why in the hardest difficulty mode, if you stay outside for too long, you get turned into a Moonscorch monster. Little details, they're nice. Back on track. Dan doesn't know any radiation that works that fast, yet doesn't outright kill the villagers. In Karin's Karin fashion, she gets bitter and is like, yo, I didn't ask you shit, mate, just ignore him. The Mao! He's a doctor by name, not with education, a snake oil salesman. Oh my god, sorry, oh my Ulmer, this writing is so goddamn good. Damn is calm and collective and is like, hey, I'm not the one making theories. Oh my god. This writing, I swear to God, I swear by Ulmer and the god of fear and hunger, this writing is so good. Seriously, I know Myro, you make horror games, but please, you should make comedy. This is so good. It's important to know that Karin doesn't believe that a singular bomb did this. Maybe there was a bomb in play, and the Bremen army wanted to do something different. I also love how Karin explains that the allies don't really need to use a bomb, but the threat of it is just as powerful. What could this be a reference to? I wonder. This is a really nice scene that helps us learn about Karin's point of view. It fits with her backstory, and we have some banter with Dan. There's also a scene if we discover the secret room under the bar. We learn that the rebels against the Bremen Empire built this room. This is dope. And it adds additional lore to the secret bunker. I love it. Also, Abella calls Karin a tough cookie. That's cute. Next, we have Karin versus August. I covered this in my August video, watch that. To explain it here, August clearly knows more than he lets on, and Karin is rightfully suspicious of his behaviour, and even claims he has notes on everyone. We the players know that August wants to kill Kaiser. However, Karin and the others don't know that. She's completely in the right to be really wary of him. Even August doesn't want to harm her. It can end in two ways. Karin starts blasting and kills August, or August goes waching and hurts Karin and runs. It's a very tense moment. August can die, and Karin can die too. I really like Karin in the scene. Time is ticking, and out of everyone from the train, August is by far the most mysterious one. In addition, the notebook Karin talks about isn't at the bar. Is Karin lying? In my opinion, no. She may be wrong, sometimes, and is an arse to others, but she definitely is not a liar. In my opinion, the festival itself is making everyone stressed, and it added to Karin acting the way she does towards August. Damn you, Moon! I also like how this scene is a callback to her not trusting August at the start of the game. Little details. I love it. Finally, her last scene, and in my opinion, one of the most powerful scenes in the game. That is Karin by the lake. It honestly reminds me of James Sunderland after he learns the truth in Silent Hill 2. Karin begins by talking about how people would call journalists that covers wars vultures, looking for a scoop. But Karin sees herself as a Valkyrie, immortalizing the people who fought and are now gone. She's drained, tired, and she's nowhere close to uncovering the truth. It hits her hard that maybe this was all for nothing. She is simply just gaining from the suffering of others. This also connects to her Moonscorch form. More on that later. This does bring up the morality of being a journalist. If I may say, it's why I personally don't cover true crime stuff on my channel. In my opinion, it feels like you are profiting off of victims. Some of these true crime channels don't even add to the stories. It feels like they're reading a news article or a wiki, and I think that's disgusting. I am also aware that some do bring attention to real horrors of the world, and they do make sure to give the victims the respect they deserve. It's a touchy moral dilemma. It's a double-edged sword. It's pretty amazing how Myro managed to fit that in the game, and it totally makes sense. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It's really heartbreaking to see Karin like this. And that's that. That's Karin's story in Fahrenheit 102 Termina. It's dope. She legit feels like a journalist, taking pictures, appearing in different locations in the game, and trying to uncover the truth. And like with the other characters, she feels so human. She has her high moments and her low moments too. God damn, Karin is just amazing. And if I may say, regardless of the whole Dead Rising reference, Karin is better than Frank West. Just saying! Again, a massive shout out to Omni World. Their video of all of Karin's interactions helped a ton in this section. Their links are in the description. You know the drill at this point. Ending A and C are almost the same for everyone. Become a puppet, quote unquote, the sofa god, or the machine god. Apart from Olivia, who gets a slightly different ending A, all of the characters get the same result. Ending B is a unique ending each playable character gets for winning the festival and saying fuck off mate to the moon god. So, what happens in Karin's ending B? Karin's mission carries on. Sure, she knows now what happened is beyond the Bremen Empire. She needs to tell the whole world. However, she's aware that if she does this, she'll be called out as an insane person. Like, think about it. Like, there was this moon god and his servant, and we had to kill each other, and there was a clown! And a woman with a soul mouth, and people were killing each other, but then I won the competition, and I said fuck off mate to the moon god, and it's the gods, they're controlling everything. See, you would sound like an insane person. So, Karin decides to fall back and bring stronger evidence before making any statements. This perfectly captures the never-ending life of a journalist. The work never ends. All things considered, this is a very fitting ending for her. In my opinion, she's not the type of woman to say fuck it and stop being a journalist. To be honest, all of this would make her work harder. Overall, this is an underrated ending. Nice, simple, and fits completely for Karin's character. I wouldn't call this a happy ending, but compared to others, it's definitely a better one. I'm so sorry, Dan. My boy. Here comes the fun part. I have a bias when it comes to my fave/best Moonscorch designs. Marina's and Samiri's, duh. However, in my opinion, Karin's won Valkyrie. is unique because she's carrying soldiers on her back. That's so cool. It really reflects her personality that deep down, she's not a vulture, but a Valkyrie who cares for the fallen. She cares about the victims! She cares! That's so incredible. Also, yes, she's a bird monster, and we need so much more bird monsters in horror. I have to say it again, I love the act of her carrying the soldiers. Visual storytelling at its finest. Also, the sound she makes at the start of the battle is so horrific. It's also hella nice that this is a callback to her conversation on the lake, talking about the morality of being a war journalist. She was right. She was always right. She was never a vulture, but she was a Valkyrie. Her Moonscorch form is beautiful. I know. It's pretty obvious what the answer is, but I had to make this section. A big part of Karin's story is her hatred towards the pig army. So, was she right about the Bremen army? Short answer, no. Long answer, kinda? The Bremen Empire were somewhat involved. Some of their soldiers are still around. There's secret tunnels and bunkers throughout the areas. Wherever the fuck this thing is. The barricade blocking the train. They were definitely involved. However, they're like pawns in a chessboard. The real evils are the Moon God and Kaiser. They are the ones who started this mess and Primeval. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Bremen army or the Empire itself is innocent. No, they are definitely guilty, but they are not the mastermind of it. In addition, you can't forget there were regular people who served the army, who had no idea what was happening. Look at Pav. His home was destroyed by Kaiser. He joined the army to save Bremen from Kaiser, to get revenge for what he did, to avenge those who died because of him. So Karin blaming the whole army, even the whole empire, is wrong. So yes and no? Kinda? No, yes. No, yes, yes. No, yes, no. You know what? Fuck it. She was right, the Bremen army. It was all them. All this time. Karin was right! Okay. I'm aware this section may come out of nowhere. However, as a feminist, I love how Karin represents both the good and the bad in the political ideology. If you don't know, I am a feminist. I no longer put it in my descriptions or mention it a lot. This is because people assume so many things about me when they see or hear that word. It's annoying to explain that I'm not the standard feminist. I understand the issues with the modern movement and I don't agree with other feminists' behaviour or what they think feminism is. Trust me, I have received so many comments. However, my inner circles know I am one, and I'm happier that way. I don't need to tell the world. I know who I am, and those who matter to me do too. Anyway. For me, Karin's story really displays the core of feminism, righting the wrong, bringing justice to those who are oppressed, wanting to fight to make change. The protests she takes part in reminds me of the first wave feminists who fought for the right to vote. It wasn't just for women to vote, but rights for other races, minorities as well. Karin's will to fight and to carry on fighting perfectly captures the goal of feminism. She legit killed the evil Moon God and went, I gotta carry on fighting. She's an inspiration. Not to mention, she's softer around the female characters, which is a really nice detail. Saying that though, she also represents the uglier side of the movement. She uses a slur towards Dan for not agreeing with her theory, and let's be honest, he wasn't even being that hostile. She insults August. She's impulsive at times, and it seriously makes her look egotistical, like a narcissist. Like, for real, if she gave a little time to Dan and explained what she knew, maybe Dan would have been more open-minded, but no, she insults him and carries on her own way. As I mentioned before in her character history, her behaviour is understandable. She has no time to talk to others, and her sixth sense is telling her something is really wrong in Primeval. I also get that some people may never understand, or don't want to understand. That sucks, but don't make yourself the target, simply move on. It's not worth the effort. In my opinion, insulting others is just a waste of breath. It hurts the movement. By the way, yes, I do also understand that some people are hateful and do deserve to be called out on, just to be clear. I say this because I've seen a lot of modern feminists say really nasty things, and it does no good for the movement. Like, yes, men can suck. Men need to do better. I get that. I'm not saying that they're perfect. By no means am I saying they're perfect at all. They do need to get better. However, punching down at them all the time is not good. The original theory itself talks about teaching men to be better. Because guess what? When men's lives are better, automatically that makes women's lives better too. Overall, I think Karin is a good feminist role model. She is inspiring, strong, and deep down, she does care. Yet, some of her behaviour is wrong. We should strive to do good, and not to behave in a nasty manner. We should learn from Karin. She is truly an amazing individual, yet she's flawed too. Oh baby, you know what time it is. Let's do this! Let's get this one out of the way first. The "I covered wars" line is a Dead Rising reference. That's it. I know it's a meme, but holy hell, there's more to Karin than a fucking reference! Such as her jacket is the same one as Leon from Resident Evil 4. How about that for a reference? The so-called sixth sense that Karin has is most likely the Moon God's doing. That fucker brought the 14 participants together. It makes sense that the Moon God would take advantage of Karin's activism and her headstrong personality. In the end, it did bring her to evil. It worked. Well, that's my theory anyway. Karin has a Doppelganger. It's very missable because it's not the one you can fight like the others. You need to find the working TV and interact with it. And you will see Karin making a news report. If you have Karin in your party, she'll be like, "It's not me! Wee!" This is honestly so cool. We know that the Doppelgangers carry the same personality as the OG. It's funny and creepy that Karin's one roleplays as a news reporter. I hope we get more cool ones in the future. I already made a video about this, but skipping Karin's character history is better than doing it. Huh? This is because Karin gets skills and equipment when you skip it. Usually skipping the character history, you miss out on skills and equipment. It's not worth it. When you do a character history, for the most part, it's a choice between skills, equipment, or items. Karin's one is unique in the sense that she gets the best of everything when you skip it. Unless you want a unique armor, and to be honest, it's not great. It's pretty shit. So yeah, skipping her character history is the right move. And yes, the irony that the loudmouth character gets the best benefits by not listening to her character history. Amazing, Myro. Absolutely amazing. She has no interaction with Pav, which is lame and sad. Yes, she does mention him leaving the train at the intro scene, but bro, Pav is like her rival, the Bremen rival. She should at least have one. Like maybe when you save him, she could interrogate him or something, or do an interview. I don't know, it's a missed opportunity. Pav is a true rival, not Dan. Karin is one of the few characters who can hold up the player. If you don't know, you can't just go on a killing spree from the get-go. If you kill someone of the other participants around at the start of the game, a select few will hold you up, and you'll be tied up till day 3. Karin is one of them. If you try to attack her, she will kill you, which results in a game over screen. Nice! When you kill her and take her soul, you get the endless soul, which perfectly represents the endless nature of her work. This is quite sad because it could mean that her work will never be finished. She will die working. Hell, even in her ending B, she is carrying on working endlessly. In a way, she's never stopped working, fighting. It kind of sounds like a nightmare, to be honest. Karin's name has 2 meanings. Number 1, it originally comes from Sweden, and it means pure. However, the funnier meaning, number 2, is angry bad woman who's probably a racist and hateful, likes to scream at people, and complain, and ask for the manager. This is funny because Karin kind of fits both meanings, but no, she's a good person. And no, she's not just an angry loud woman who screams at people. Yes, she's a woman. Yes, she's loud. Yes, she gets angry, but no, she's a good person with a pure heart. Her heart is in the right place. She cares. But yes, very funny, Myro. You get a gold star. Ha ha ha, you clever boy. Lastly, Karin has a full name. This is actually pretty rare for a character in the Fair and 100 games to have. Her full name is, and I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, Karin Algonon Soooo. I probably pronounced that wrong. But wait, she says a middle name with Frank West from the famous game called Dead Rising, who famously said, "I covered wars"? No! This can't be! Myro, you devil! Anywho, other characters who have a full name are Marina Dominic, Pavel Yudin, and Olivia Haas. Little details, aren't they amazing? And that was Karin's story in Termina. I love her so much. Her design is really cool. I love there is a character like her, wanting to discover the truth. I liked how I personally connected to her as a feminist. Like the other characters, she feels human, and I will always praise Myro's writing. Yes, the combat and the art and the coin flip all make Fair and 100 what it is, but the writing is just as important. Anywho, Myro's links and the links to their games are in the description. Support them. These videos are so much fun to make. I love talking about Fairy 102 Termina. Anyway, that's one more character off the list. Do let me know what your thoughts are about Karin. Who should be next in the series? Let me know! But wait, this video isn't over yet. We can't forget JustSomeNoob for making such an amazing thumbnail for this video. They are always wonderful to work with. The art of Karin is so beautiful. Honestly, he's one of the best artists ever, and he truly deserves so much more love and support. Please check them out and support them on Patreon. Their links are in the description. Fucking support them now! Do be warned, they do make the naughty stuff. That's not safe for work. Be careful. Regardless, do it. Support them. What are you waiting for? Support JustSomeNoob. Their links in the description. Support them! Do it!